Turning to other speeches from day one of the RNC here in Cleveland, many of the speakers focused their attacks on Hillary Clinton's record and experience.
Yet Hillary Clinton's plan is more of the same. More government, more taxes, more regulation, more illegal immigration, and more debt.
A vote for Hillary is putting all of our children's lives at risk. It's time for Donald Trump.
This entire campaign comes down to a single question. If Hillary Clinton can't give us the truth, why should we give her the presidency?
But my next guest says Hillary Clinton is the most admired and respected woman in the world. Joining me right now is Democratic National Committee Chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. It's good to see you, Congresswoman. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Your reaction to all of those speeches going straight at Hillary Clinton?
Well, it's not surprising that the Republican National Convention stage would use this as an opportunity to deflect from the fact that they are about to nominate on Thursday the most divisive, bigoted, unprepared, intemperate candidate that any major party has ever put forward. So they don't have much they can say in favor, which they didn't do at all yesterday, about their candidate, so they have to disparage their opposition.
You know, divisive, we just had a debate about this. We were talking with John Behr, former speechwriter for President Clinton, and I asked him, what do you think about President Obama in terms of being divisive? Would you see President Obama as being divisive?
No. On the contrary, President Obama has done repeatedly his level best to try to bring people together, extended the olive branch to my Republican counterparts and colleagues in Congress over and over again, only to be rebuffed. I mean, if you remember, Mitch McConnell started after after President Obama was elected. First thing out of the gate he said was that his #1 priority was to defeat Barack Obama. That is not exactly the message that indicates that they ever wanted to work with him, and in spite of that, he continued to make every effort to bring us together, and they had no interest.
We don't want to get into a debate about President Obama, but the truth is he has pointed his fingers. It's Republicans' fault, you know, it's conservatives' fault, it's the police's fault. I mean, up until last week, a lot of people felt he was not supporting law enforcement.
Oh, come on. President Obama has been doing everything he can to send a strong message, first by creating the 21st Century Policing Commission, the words that he has shared with the American people about the fact that black and blue lives matter have been resonant. He's made sure to express not only condolences but strong support for law enforcement and acknowledge that we have a real problem with the relationship that has to be strengthened in African-American communities all across America between law enforcement and the black community. That's critical, and I know I'm leading an effort in my district in South Florida and created a task force with my colleague Congressman Alcee Hastings, because we know that tension is simmering just below the surface, and building and strengthening that trust and relationships is so important in communities across the country.
She has talked a lot about building on the president's policies, whether it be Obamacare or Dodd-Frank, his economic record.
Yes.
How is she going to distance herself from some of the failures?
Well, I think when you're looking at 76 months of job growth in the private sector, creating 14.8 million jobs, pulling us out of the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression.
Yeah, but we're talking about an economy that's growing 2%. You can't possibly say that we shouldn't be a lot farther along. Almost a decade after the financial crisis.
Maria, what I certainly can say is that we shouldn't be going back to what the Republicans term the good old days, which were Republican policies that crashed our economy and caused the Great Recession. What Donald Trump's economic plan would do is it would cost $31 trillion. It would plunge us into a deficit. He has no substantive economic plan. He is clearly unprepared for the presidency, doesn't have any facts to back up the things he said. Compare that with Hillary Clinton, who not only is admired, but is someone who is the most prepared presidential candidate in recent times.
You can say prepared, but people will poke holes in some of her experience and their preparedness, like Benghazi, like the fact that ISIS actually got stronger on her watch.
Benghazi? Every investigation that has been done has led to the fact that there was no evidence whatsoever that there was any wrongdoing. In fact, Secretary Clinton created a commission, acknowledged that there was certainly things that could have been handled differently, the commission recommended 13 different policies, all of which have been implemented. And look, Kevin McCarthy, the majority leader, my colleague in Congress, admitted on national television that the reason the Republicans created that Benghazi Select Committee was to bring down Hillary Clinton's poll numbers.